we didn't have anything in particular in mind. It was actually originally a commission film where, I mean, the brief, so to speak, was to make a film on the cinema industry in Maligaon. That was the broad brief. And we were meant to go in there and look for what we wanted to kind of make a film on. So this was not actually the kind of film where we had already heard of Asif before, or, you know, we wanted to specifically make a film. I mean, the film was actually, I mean, Asif was actually very serendipitous in the process of doing our research and speaking to a lot of people there in Maligaon. Now, having said that, I think, yeah, I mean, yeah, we're all kind of, all of us are aware of Maligaon through cinema, through a lot of writing, I think, as well, on Maligaon as well. So I think the idea was to kind of add to that imagination of Maligaon in a certain way without, you know, in a sense, repeating things that we've already seen, you know. So I think that it was a kind of, it was there at the back of our minds, of course. So I mean, our impulse was, how can we shift the lens a little bit, you know, and maybe take a look at the more, you know, the relationship between people who are making the cinema and the craft of cinema itself. You know, I think the whole interiority, so to speak, of the whole process of working on a film. You know, that there is, I mean, it's a very reflective space. The whole process of creating cinema is actually happening in a very, you know, through a very reflective process, you know. And so I think while we were shooting it, that was the kind of invisible kind of, you know, again, impulse which was kind of driving us to kind of look for the spaces of silence and introspection, and therefore a very quiet, you know, restrained kind of camera, because we didn't want to kind of go in there and try and, you know, break down what it is that they were actually thinking. You know, it was more at the, we wanted it to be deliberately at the level of suggestion, at the level of, you know, creating certain associations, thoughts and things like that. So I think that kind of somewhere...
like this morning we were having,
But just adding to what Amit is saying, actually, it was also interesting in the sense that when we first went to shoot, we shot a lot of the loom and everything in the loom, in a sense, because it also was a very fascinating space, and we'd never seen a space like that, in a sense. So you're also responding much more spontaneously, but having spent long hours in a space like that, the loom also has a very interesting rhythm to itself. And I'm particularly in the sense that, like we were saying in the morning, we're talking, it's also the sound in the loom, and I'm not romanticizing it, but literally it is a certain, there is a certain rhythm that it sort of, you know, plays, and it kind of draws you in, it sucks you in. So as we went for the second one, you know, the second shoot, and were clearer as to why we were looking at the loom space in a certain way, it also became a, a way of excavating it in a particular way, visually.